the dropout rates from high school, college, and grad school. And the more I looked, the more I was overwhelmed by the untold, ignored story of what's really happening today. And it's a story you need to hear. Hi, my name's James Callahan, and this is The Do-Over Show.
So how do we fix it? Let's talk solution.
Well, there's no cure for what you have. Oh my God!
The one area we don't get any help in is navigating the mess of a derailed educational career. If you are a dropout, or if you know them, you know they've got a chip on their shoulder. And that chip on their shoulder either gives them an excuse to be angry at everything, never to accomplish what it is they really, secretly, probably wish they could accomplish, and that is to finish their degree. And if you're one of those people, I bet you've memorized a complete list of famous, billionaire, rich people who never finished high school or college or dropped out of grad school, and you just can memorize them because they're the thing you memorized instead of the periodic table. Like Jim Carrey and Michael J. Fox, Nicolas Cage and Christine Applegate, Brandon Lee, Christian Slater, Lindsay Lohan, Richard Pryor for the old timers, Cameron Diaz, Charlie Sheen, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and then there's that creepy guy, Bill Cosby. And you can Google it and find dozens of lists of famous people that dropped out of high school, college, or grad school. But here's what they don't tell you. The story of millions and millions and millions of dropouts that never make it to fame, never make it to riches, never make it beyond basic minimum wage or unskilled labor, never are seen or recognized as people who have great potential because they were told their whole life that they're not living up to their potential. They get ignored when applying for jobs, passed over for promotions, unless they've discovered the unicorn of a company that hires for experience. And even if they do, if they go up against someone who has finished a degree, they get passed over in favor of the promotion or hiring the person who not only has the experience or the skill set, but also finished their degree. Now, here are the numbers for the worst of us dropouts. Every year, 1.2 million students drop out of high school in the U.S. That's a student every 26 seconds, or 7,000 a day. And here's one that really hurts. A high school dropout will earn about $200,000 less over their working lifetime than someone who just finishes their high school diploma, and will make $1 million less over their entire working lifetime than someone who finishes a college degree. Ouch. Hey, and if these numbers aren't enough to scare you straight into finishing your high school diploma, if you're not already living in the hell of dropout life today, trying to help your kid without knowing what's really going on, that's where the pain is today. So here's how to start digging yourself out of that hole, whether you're a dropout or whether you're a parent or guardian of someone who's just struggling with school. And the first rule is, if you're digging yourself into a hole, you gotta stop digging. I know it's pretty obvious, but realize this, there are alternatives to just sticking it out and staying in an almost impossible situation, or even a situation where the student or you just cannot see beyond dropping out. You can try homeschooling, you can switch schools, you can move. And I know families who've moved out of their neighborhood school, a dropout factory, to give their kid a chance to finish. Now, if you can't leave your kid at home and homeschooling is not an option, hey, it wasn't for me. My mom would have left me home for homeschooling, I would have screwed that up even worse, probably burnt the house down. Then the next step is, well, you gotta let it happen. You gotta drop out, realizing that it's not too late, it's just a detour. Well, that means that when you drop out, you don't just let them ride free and reward them for dropping out. No, they have to get a job and they have to start paying things like rent. Real life and adulthood come at you a little bit faster when you're one of those dropouts. Don't underwrite their dropout life. And I had to get a job and pay rent when I was 17 and living at home. When my mother finally gave up on teacher-parent conferences and interventions, and she looked at me and said, "You're done." But here's the thing, that choice to drop out is not irreversible. It's not a mistake that you can never undo. It's just a detour. But it sets you up for a more difficult life, a poorer life filled with more challenges than others. But hey, that's what you're signing up for with a dropout life. That's what I signed up for. Now, I didn't see it clearly at the time. Everyone told me life was going to be hard or harder for me than for anybody else if I just stuck it out. Here's the problem. I couldn't just stick it out. I wasn't ready. I wasn't able. I was the person who was always told, you're not living up to your potential. And by the way, there is nothing so discouraging and so maddening as to think you're motivating someone who's struggling by saying, you're not living up to your potential. Now, this isn't one quick, easy 3-step advice about how to get through a program without dropping out, or how to parent or be a guardian to someone that's struggling, because sometimes you just got to let it happen and look for the alternatives. So that's on you to find out what the alternatives are. But here's the thing, when you're in the midst of doubting whether or not you're going to be able to finish it, and you're struggling with the idea of dropping out, the last thing that comes to mind is, oh, I have alternatives. The alternative is not to win the lottery. It's not to become an entrepreneur. It's not to become a gorgeous model or a superstar or an actor. What you see at the moment is, I just got to escape this and get out of it. Looking for alternatives takes the time and usually some change of scenery to look beyond the circumstances that tell you, oh, I cannot survive another day going to school. Hey, and thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. Please hit the like button because it really helps. And while you're there, how about you subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss a next episode. I'm so glad you found me, and I found you. Thanks.